अन्यथा गृह्णत स्वप्नः निद्रा तत्त्वम् अजानतः विपर्यासे तयोः क्षीणे तुरीयं पदमश्नुते. During dream and during waking state, anyata grahanam, taking one thing for another takes place. And during sleep, we don't know anything. If these two errors go away, what remains is that Turiya, that Brahman alone is. Be that.
Thank you. When we live in the domain of mind, then it is me and you and they and it never ends. You close your eyes, you go into sleep, and that mind again shows you yourself, others, with a story. Why this story continues? Only because of our interest in things and beings, our desires, our attachments, even our hate. This is the fuel for this story to continue. That is the reason why all scriptures talk about desirelessness. Some people ask, what about if I have few desires? Yes, if you have few desires, their attachment to you to continue this dream, waking dream, they are enough for it. Almost all people you come across go through this waking dream and then deep sleep. And almost all believe that this is their life, this is what is given to us, and this is reality. And we don't know any other reality in our life, and we die. Then one fine day, someone has this inquisitiveness to know if there is something beyond it, something which is unchanging, more peaceful than my life. That is the first step to get out of this illusory dream. The moment you have this inquisitiveness for that divinity, for that purity within you, you start receding from the matter. Mind is matter. Matter is always changing. It changes forms, it decays. It is in the domain of time and space, including this body, including your mind. Anything which is changing is in the domain of mind. Anything changing is in the domain of time and space. But the essence which supplies energy, which is self luminous, is our reality. We can only know that when our interest in matter is less, and our interest to know that is more. It is the same interest, same attention, which is outwardly. We have to move inwardly. It is doable by everyone. Only thing needed is your interest in it. It is not dependent on any religion or where you live or your circumstances or your sexual orientation. It is independent of all the factors of matter. Only thing needed is your longing to know it. And we talk about different paths to achieve it. Who created these paths? Paths are created by your own discovery. When you reach by using some method, you say this works, and you tell others, and they go on that path and it works. And in this way, there are so many paths. Now, these paths become religion in due course of time, not by the person who has achieved or reached self, but by the followers. Followers are still full of ego. Their interpretation is always tainted by their own desires. And so we see so many fallacies in religions. But the path is pure. I had this question from various seekers that what is this heart I talk about that bring your mind to heart? What is heart? Is this physical heart or the spiritual heart which we talk about, which is on slightly on the right side of our chest, where when you get into it just before there is experience of this spurna, spandan vibration. How to bring mind into heart? What is that heart? Heart is the name given to source. Heart is none other than that pure self. Heart is that awareness. When you know that source, before you know it, you become it. Only awareness can know itself because it is not an object. Self illumines everything, including mind. Mind is working due to light of self, but self is working because of its own self luminous. And self cannot be known by any being, any ego, any mind. To know self, you have to be self. There is no other way. no object, no instrument. You can't know the self in a laboratory by instruments. That person has to become that instrument to go within. And again, people get confused when I say go within. It is within, it is without, it is everywhere. But to know it, you have to leave your mind. And mind always projects outward. Even when it is projecting towards your thoughts, it is outward. Thoughts are not the closest to you. You are yourself the closest. Thoughts are also external. Relatively, they are closer to you than external objects. Thoughts, words, actions, they're all external to us. Go within means go to the inner core, where you are only an observer, where you are the source. And this source is independent of this body mind complex. It has no ears but can hear. It has no brain but can understand everything. It is that supreme knowledge. It is more alive than this body. Yet it is humble. You can be king of the whole world, but you might have no idea of the self, source. Moving from illusion to reality is breaking the knot between the two. In the scriptures, there is a beautiful word, Chit Jada Granthi. Chit is this consciousness, pure self. Jada is insentient matter, mind, body. Granthi means knot. There is a knot between the two. To break this knot, your longing to know this consciousness is enough. You start receding from the matter and you become eternal. You are eternal. But as long as you stay part of this dream, you suffer, you change, you die, you get born, and you have all sorts of thoughts which keeps you in this bondage. How to fix this problem? It is so easy. You just recede and know the source. Source is none other than you. Mind gives you bait to do this, to do that. It is an expert commentary on everything you come across. You just stay as a witness. Focus on silence between your thoughts. Silence is coming from the source, and thoughts are projections of the mind. Don't try to catch your thoughts, catch this silence. Even during thoughts, also, there is a silence, constant, it never stops. You are this silence. You are no body, you are nothing. You are this pure silence. Merge your identity in this pure silence without leaving any trace of your own identity. For people, you might be a person, a man, or a woman, or a profession, or a relationship. But for you, you are nothing. You have no story. All stories in which we have invested are like dreams, waking dreams. Pay no importance to your own story. People read fiction and then they say real stories. Fiction and real stories, there is no difference. They're all stories. Story of reality would be blank pages, but full of wisdom, love, respect, peace. And you are that. Even when you think you are this mind body complex, you are that. Keep your attention on this pure awareness. Before your mind, transcend your mind by paying attention to it. Your interest and your attention is the key. If you call it as a method, then this is the method. Your attention, your longing makes it revealed to you. We call it grace, kripa. You look within how many things you're interested in, and you will know the answer. You don't have to stop doing what you're doing or life what you're living. But your attention can be on that pure awareness. In spite of all things happening in your life. Self-effort is must to reach to effortlessness. Start trusting this pure silence and give up your engagement with thoughts. Action coming out of thoughts is to worship. Actions coming out of pure silence is non-worship. Any type of doership leads to restlessness, anxiety. Abide in your pure silence. Silence is God. Silence is self. Silence is peace. And silence is that pure love. Silence is not negative, that when there is no sound, then there is silence. Silence is the source of sound. You are that pure silence. Always remember that. You have no location. You stay even when body drops. You stay when there is no mind. You stay even when this whole world dissolves. You are independent. All what you thought you are is on domain of mind. All pap and punya, sin and good deeds are all in domain of mind. You have no clue about these things. You are untainted, purest of pure, always the same. Self alone is nothing else. Enjoy your own bliss all the time. Pleasure seeking mind has no clue about this bliss. And so it goes for entertainment, seeking pleasure in beings and objects. You are eternal bliss. Listen this from the source, from your heart. Allow your mind to accept this truth. So it merges in the heart, giving you supreme bliss, Param Shanti, end of all suffering. Now stay as the awakened Buddha, abiding in the self is real awakening. Awakening from the waking dream. Mind survives only with thoughts. Its life depends on thoughts only. It has no other separate existence. And thoughts depend on ownership of this body, which we call ego. And this ownership of the body is false. Our ownership of this body is the cause of all suffering. You recede and stay as self, as impartial. Then this body and other bodies and all bodies are just same, floating in this pure awareness. Just like right now, you are identified by a name given to this body. Abiding in self, always remember yourself as self. That pure awareness. Though for day to day work, if people call you by a name, just accept it, but as a play. Without any seriousness for that name. And then you will realize nobody can insult you, nor anyone can praise you, because whole world knows you by a body, by a name, and you are not that. So no praise comes to you and no hate comes to you. Nothing comes to you. No interaction in this world can increase your bliss or decrease your bliss. Abiding in self, you realize you are independent. Our mind always loves to possess things, and it thinks that one day I will know the self, I will get it. This can never happen. When you abide in self, self takes care of everything in your life. That mind, which we are so dependent, becomes a vestigial organ. Thoughts which we give so much importance are useless. Surrender your mind, become devotee of pure self. Give away your control of ego. Allow things to happen and see the magic, how the mystery unfolds. Once you surrender, miracles happen in your life. I would like to share an incident in Tirunamalai from where I just came back. I was walking on the road and I met Linda Menegas. She's from Mariba in Queensland. She has spoken to me a couple of times in past. An ardent seeker of truth. And I've never met her, and I could not even remember her name. But she just came across on the road, not even in the ashram. And somehow I saw her and she saw me and she said, "Are you Sanjay?" And she was thinking to meet me in Tirunamalai as she has permanently moved there 5 weeks ago. without any other media. She's not in WhatsApp group or Zoom meetings. She only listens to YouTube satsang. And then I suggested that I will introduce her to a person who is from Melbourne, now moved there, who can help her to find things. And next day she met this person in Sadhu Om's ashram. The same person. They both wrote to me that we met each other. What I'm saying to you is when you leave everything to that absolute, it arranges everything for you. When you have that pure intention, things just happen. These are very small things, but I'm just sharing because your planning cannot get you there. Sometimes when you surrender, best happens to you. Have faith in that self. Then your individuality, your personality, your ego, your doership. Go away from this. This is claustrophobic. It keeps you very small. You are infinite. You are so infinite, so huge, so big, you cannot imagine yourself. We only see forms. Forms are always limited. Forms are always finite. When you touch awareness, you become infinite. Then nothing is impossible. But then you have no desire to make anything possible. You are blessed with contentment. So it's a dilemma. The one who wants things cannot achieve because he cannot, he is limited, that ego. And the one who can achieve anything is not interested because he is in supreme bliss. Understand this truth. It is like if you are the king of everything, everything is serving you, then what you want to desire for? Just be. Shri Arunachal Ramnaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you everyone.